there were people in the Tennessee legal system that absolutely hated my VINwiki episode, and they made that very known. So some of you may have seen, this was probably about a year ago now, there were videos on VINwiki where I talked about my court case with the state of Tennessee. Unfortunately, I was arrested and I was put into jail. I got 5 counts of inciting to riot, and that was for car meets that I used to put on. And they were all just supposed to be, park and chill, very strict, no burnouts, no donuts, no, excessive revving, whatever, like very strict rules on every flyer I ever posted, whatever. And then Takeover Kids showed up, and they kind of ruined every single event, and it ended up just being an absolute nightmare every single time to try and control people, because me being one person, first of all, I never really expected them to get as big as they did. What do you know? They became massive. And so over time, just got all these charges that were racked up for other people's actions, essentially, of people showing up to my events and starting to swing donuts and basically just starting takeovers at what was supposed to be a very pretty much family-friendly car meet, just nighttime version of Cars and Coffee, essentially. That's what the whole goal was. That was back in April 2022. So fast forward now, was it like 2.5 years later or something like that? We just now came to a resolution for the most part. I am currently I have a year of probation, but we went through with a no contest plea. And after that year of probation, everything's expunged. Nothing's left on my record. I don't have those inciting riot charges anymore. It essentially came down to 2 options. One was like, all right, we can continue to fight it and, potentially have 0 probation whatsoever, but that could also take a year. And it's like, why not just go ahead and get the probation over with and be 100% confirmed that it's like, okay, I won't have these on my record anymore. So we ended up doing that. But what's funny is the day of when we were supposed to enter our plea, some of you may have seen my R8 on the internet. It is wrapped similarly to a Tennessee Highway Patrol state trooper. Before I did it, we made sure that it was legal because, I think there's a couple states in the United States where there's trademark designs and colors and whatnot from government agencies, and Tennessee's one of them, the Tennessee Highway Patrol. So they have their colors trademarked, their design is trademarked. So we use different colors, different striping, different wording, and all the above basically to make it our own, essentially. That day, we entered the plea. The Tennessee Highway Patrol ADA, which is the Assistant District Attorney, he was there that morning, which, first I'll be clear, I'm not even remotely wanting it to seem like I'm speaking down on anybody, because I'm not. I thoroughly respect our Tennessee Highway Patrol, hence why I love their design so much, and I wanted to create something similar. But that morning, the Tennessee Highway Patrol ADA shows up and decides that he wanted to pretty much open up another case, or attempt to open up another case, which would be, the impersonation route of what I've done with my car. I mean, we were waiting for, I want to say, an extra hour and a half or something like that for him to just call around and figure out if it was illegal or not, because he came to court not even knowing if what he was trying to accuse me of would actually hold up whatsoever. So he didn't even know. So he shows up and basically tells the judge to halt for a little bit because he needs to figure a couple things out. So we had to wait for him to hop on the phone, talk to, the legal team of Tennessee Highway Patrol, whatever. And after all that time of waiting, and I'm pretty sure the judge was not happy about waiting that long either. I don't know. But after waiting for about an hour and a half, we come to find out there's nothing that they can do about the rap. And I had kind of, I didn't tell him that directly, but it was kind of already a known thing. For anybody that has commented on my Instagram or whatever, TikTok, and you'll say that I am basically committing a felony of impersonation, I am not that dumb to go out and knowingly commit full-on impersonation. I'm very, very dumb for sure, but not that dumb. He came back out and basically just went up to the stand and said that no, there's nothing they can do about it. At least not yet. I don't know if they're gonna pass some law or something, which if that happens, then obviously I'll have to modify the rap and change it up to satisfy them. But I almost was hit with, I guess that's felonies, the impersonation charges, and that was on the day of me wrapping my car meet case. And so that would have quite literally opened up opened up my wallet for one, for legal fees, and opened up a whole new can of worms of waiting for the Tennessee legal system to get absolutely anything done. My 5 charges for inciting to riot, they're Class A misdemeanors in the state of Tennessee. So each one is 11 months and 29 days in jail to the maximum extent. And if ran consecutively, obviously that'd be 5 years in prison, essentially. So for the past 2.5 years, technically I've been facing 5 years in jail. Did I think I was going to go to jail for 5 years off the rip? No. But was that a possibility? Sure. Small one, but possibility. But it's just interesting because, again, still to this day, like the 2.5 years that I spent in court trying to fight this case, I was never able to speak once. Obviously, my attorney is absolutely incredible. I don't think that this is a fault of his whatsoever, because I think that we played all the right cards and he led me in the right direction to be able to find a proper resolution. There was never really an opportunity for me to speak and kind of give my input or my side of the story of this whole car meet situation thing. And funny enough, I won't specifically say who, but there were people in the Tennessee legal system that absolutely hated my VINwiki episode, and they made that very known. They brought that to my attention. So that is the most extent of me talking on that topic that I've ever done, really. And so I'm actually very glad that we did that, because they never asked me to speak on it once. I never got an opportunity. It's just interesting because of all that time, the 2.5 years, you would think that there'd at least be one opportunity for them to ask me a question and go up on the stand and me be like, oh, that's what this was. Or oh, no, I didn't do this because of this or whatever. But there was not one single time. After all that time of going through that case, it became clear to me that they definitely were trying to make an example of me. At the end of the day, it's like looking back, it's like, okay, they've never dealt with a case like this before. There definitely is a takeover problem in Nashville, for sure. You hear about it all the time. You see videos, people getting hit by cars when people are swinging donuts, and kids will jump in the middle of the circle and whatever. Can you find me one video of me attending one of those? Can you find one video of me encouraging somebody to do that at a car meet, at one of my car meets or whatever it may be? I can answer that for you. No. And it's just interesting because, like I said in the previous videos, my entire intention of doing those meets in the first place was literally just to create a nighttime Cars and Coffee. That's all it was. Because all the events in Nashville are, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., on a Saturday when you either want to sleep in or you're still awake from the night prior and you don't want to go to sleep till 7 or 8 a.m. There was nothing at nighttime. There was nothing. And so it created something for people to look forward to, and it's a change of scenery. It was something fun. And like I said, it was always something where I tried to lay out strict rules, and, end of the day, looking back on it, didn't work how I intended it to. Do I think that I should have been liable for what other people decided to do against my ask of don't do this, this, and this? I don't know. I personally, no. But the state of Tennessee, they would disagree, apparently. I'm happy with how we've resolved it. We'll get it over with, just a year of probation, and then it's gone. So, at the end of the day, I understand why they would want to pin somebody like me to do it. Obviously, I have a social media following. There's nobody else really that, in Nashville that was doing car events with a following like mine. So it's like, okay, who is the most popular person or whatever that would get the most media attention for us actually doing something about, something in the Nashville car world? And it's like, I get that. I get why they did it. And do I agree with it? Do I think that those charges should have even been brought to me in the first place? Not even by the slightest. At this point, not much I can really do about it now. I'm just happy to have it, at a resolution where it seems like both parties are happy, even though I don't know if that's the word I would fully consider it on my end. But a year from now, we'll be out of it.
If you get a ticket, the first thing you should do is text a picture of it to 305-305. That will get the ticket clinic on your case immediately. You'll be facing costly fines, risks of suspension, possible jail time, points on your license, higher insurance premiums, and a lot of bad things that they can help you to avoid. You can also find them at the link in the description below, but the Ticket Clinic is a nationwide law firm with brick and mortar offices in Georgia, Florida, and California, but they've got attorneys everywhere, and that's what's most important, because a local attorney will know exactly how the local laws work, know the people who are in charge, and get you the best outcome possible. So text a picture of your ticket to 305-305 or click the link in the description below to fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.